Good morning, everyone, at B1 Less News, CDC Whistleblower. This is Tanner's dad, Tim. And Tanner, it's Father's Day, and we're going to talk about being a father, fatherhood, what it means to me, what it means to you. Miss Clarita Vita joined, Anthony Evans. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Father's Day to everybody. This is what fatherhood's about. I'm okay being defined as a father. I gave up my career and for marriage and family, and the dreams of my family, and the fact that my son has autism, and I am defined as a father, and I'm okay with that. It's about 5:45 in the morning, and this is Tanner. He'll be 18 here shortly. He has level 3 nonverbal autistic, and I just want to talk to you, say hello, and talk and say the experience defines me. I can't think of anything greater than working for the health and future of our youth. So tell me what you think. Tell me what fatherhood means to you. Happy Father's Day. That's all I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about any of my subjects, even though I am on the autism spectrum myself, and that's my perseveration. I study it, I live it, I breathe it. It's early morning. It's a little bit of a rainy day here. Hi, Cookie99. Thank you for joining. Appreciate the hearts. Swipe right to follow. Tell me what you want to talk about. Anything to do with fatherhood is the topic, and I will entertain questions if anybody wants to talk about my topics, of course. But this one's for Tanner. What we do together, we spend a lot of time together. He communicates non-verbally. Mainly that is a physical prompt from him, although we try technology, iPad, and what we call picture exchange system. Hi, buddy. How are you doing? Can you say Happy Father's Day? Of course, our reaction is, hi, buddy. He likes to just like rub my head and my neck. And tell me what you're going to do today. I get to spend the. Do you feel you understand him more being on the spectrum as well? Well, that's really, really hard to define. I think, yes, I think that when there's reactions or emotions or things that I struggle with, I think that he struggles with them the same way. Although a lot of my situations have to do with the higher functioning, deal with bullying and understanding social situations and reactions and job things and that sort of thing. So with his situation being totally incapacitated, it's very different from mine. My wife actually gets angry when I compare my high functioning with his low functioning. And that's one of the challenges that in my situation as a high functioning, I see a lot of those almost benefits from being on the spectrum, being able to play chess, being able to ride out some of the emotional issues that seem to rip up neurotypicals. I can kind of compartmentalize and just kind of ride my way through on an even keel. But in Tanner's situation, where his interaction with the real world is limited because his world is driven by him. If he walked out in the middle of the street, he would expect it to be the cars would stop, the world to stop rotating and let him cross the road. He does not equate the dangerous things that happen to us, that can happen to us. Do you feel, that's repeated, do you feel you understand him? Yeah, for some reason my older iPad equipment well, thank you. Very good explanation. Yeah, like I said, I'll talk about anything. I have the hashtag #AskTim. I think I've been around the block now. It's been 13 and a half years since he regressed. So on July 4th, 9 o'clock in the morning, that was when he walked in the living room and said, my name is Tanner, my name is Tanner. That's the last time he spoke, and had the regression into autism, and more profound than anybody else in my family. I do see the genetic tendency that I know stories about my great-grandfather, grandfather, that they were a little bit different. My dad was definitely different. I was weird. My nephew was diagnosed with Asperger's, and then Tanner, complete autism. Hope you enjoy your Father's Day with your gifted son. Yeah, and I seldom use that word gifted. I say he's unique unto himself, and his soul is brilliant. There's nothing about the world, Tanner's world, as far as autism, that I would use the word gifted. Less than 3% of people with autism have savant abilities, and that absolutely waters down his situation. So I wouldn't be a good father on Father's Day if I didn't advocate for him to have a better situation, to live a more comfortable, independent life. And at this point, Tanner, independence is nil as far as dressing, caretaking, personal daily living, feeding. Everything has to be done by somebody else. So that's a big part of my duty to advocate for him. I appreciate you all. They are unique in their ways. I bring inspiration when I teach them. Yeah, I think they can teach us a lot about the world, about patience, about understanding, about the definition of fatherhood. That's part of what I really want to talk about. Josh Lev's book, All In. I went to find it at a number of bookstores, and it sold out. And I think you can still get it online, and I'm sure it'll come back into the bookstores. But you want to get that where he has gone out and interviewed fathers and talked about what fatherhood is. I'm praying that I might get it as a Father's Day gift, and probably God was looking out for me that I shouldn't have been looking for a good book the week before Father's Day. So I always do that. I always go out and buy my Father's Day gift the week before. How old is Tanner? He's 17 and a half, and he is my only son. We knew there were some difficulties, a little bit of speech delay, and then I had a career that moved me every year and a half. So we waited about 10 years to have Tanner, and then once we were thinking about our second and third child, we were told that his issues with a little bit of speech delay was genetic, and that's why we had delayed having another child, and that's why we delayed the vaccines. Or that's why we gave him the vaccines, because they said it was totally genetic at the point. We had delayed them because we didn't know, and then when we were told it was totally genetic, then we gave him the vaccines, and that's when he regressed. So fatherhood is what I gave up my corporate identity for. The longest time I was defined as a retail manager, and sold my soul and drank the Kool-Aid and lived and eat and breathe and the corporate world, and having the 2x4 upside the head of autism and the 2 heart attacks at 38. Hi, buddy. Have a kiss. Have a kiss. Hi. Were you talking to us? You want to sing? I love you. You love me. Where does he understand words? Is he able to read? At the point of regression, he was reading at a level that was kind of typical to a 4.5-year-old. So that's our sump pump. We're riding on a puddle of water. And so, I mean, he reads from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to bed. We know he's comprehending things right side up. So if a magazine has pictures in them, and he starts flipping and it's upside down, he'll turn it up the right way. So as far as we know, because he has no communication as far as reflective or creative play or any communication with us We don't know what's going in. I believe in my heart and soul and every fiber of my body, one day they're going to hook a computer up to him and he's going to know more than all of us put together. So I believe the way his thirst for new material is that he is learning as he goes through what he's reading. He can go through a magazine and pretty much be bored with it in about 10-15 minutes. So as far as what goes in and what's retained, it's hard to tell. A lot of people think that the way he flips is just a stem, and that's just his thing that he has to have. But there's definitely pauses, and we ask him a lot of times, what is it that you're looking at? You see that boy? And so I can't. Sorry. Yeah, he'll stop. Mainly where he stops is at pictures of faces. So that's very good. Can he use the computer? Before he regressed, he was using the computer. I have pictures of him playing little infant toddler video games and reacting to it. At this point, it's hand over hand, and there's no interest level. I mean, it's very intensive for therapists and myself, and we have probably 30-40 different apps that we've tried. We've tried $200, $300, $400 apps as far as like Proloquo and Avatalker and those really expensive communication apps. And then a lot of free apps. My autistic son, 13. I'm still angry about what vaccines did to my boy. Have you gotten past the point, or does that linger forever? Well, again, because I'm on the spectrum myself, anger is an emotion that I've been able to compartmentalize. I think anger drives the world, and things get done when people are angry. And so I encourage the expression of being angry, but only to the point of making it be useful to you. If it's a acid in a jar that eats your soul, you don't do anything to help your child. So, of course, I would be not human, I don't think, if I didn't have that anger still built up inside of me. I saw him react and regress, and I was lied to. And so I always tell people in the retail world, my two pet peeves are make sure you keep the shelves filled and don't lie to me. And so in the retail world, you have to keep your shelves filled, otherwise you're not in business. And in the fatherhood world, it's a really complicated balance between the care of, the cure issue, and the soul issue. And keeping your job as a father is to propel your child out into the world and give them wings and let them fly. And so when it comes to the recovery issue, it's very complicated because you want to give Tanner, your child, everything you can to succeed in the world, and that's where the recovery cure issue comes into play. To be able to fly into the world, it takes that recovery, and that's what people don't understand. My sole job as a father was supposed to be push him out of the nest at 18, right? And so, the base visceral anger is there, and I didn't want to go to the dark side with this video. I wanted to be upbeat, but again, it's very hard to be upbeat, and I very much empathize with you as a mother that still feels angry. I just hope that you realize that the parenting role with a child with special needs is probably going to go on forever and ever and ever.